fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're just freaked out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, Izuku Midoriya, or the famous assassin, he has just completed an assignment in LA, where he killed his targets. Now, he was also paid a very handsome fee of $20 million for his assignment, and he's headed back to the facility. Now, he gets off the plane at the airport, and does actually pick up something. He picks up something that was on hold at the luggage bay, and he is handed a case. Now, Midoriya, he takes the case, and actually does slide a coin across. The person nodding is actually to take it, telling him to have a wonderful day. And Midoriya just nods, as he goes to walk to his car. Now, Midoriya does get in the parking garage, and click the button on his keys. Now, after Midoriya does this, he does actually get in, and close the door, turning the car over as he does actually fumble with the radio a bit, and get his desired station. Now, he then does actually open the briefcase, and look to see exactly what's going on. Let's see. I'm looking at a paper that is talking about another target. Midoriya is going to have to take out this target and then go meet with somebody. So, this can be very interesting. However, this is going to be quite a tricky one. He's going to have to carry this out in the middle of the day. So, Midoriya says bring his hand out onto the gear shifter, and putting it in reverse, as the car backs up. And people do actually watch a very beautiful old muscle car drive out and away, the engine revving up as Midoriya drives into the distance. Now, Midoriya does at least follow, street legal rules, meaning that if he violates them, he could be pulled over and caught. So following them is a must for what he's going to be doing. Now, with that, Midoriya actually does get to a place and find it, as he does actually go to a steel mill and begin to look around, wondering exactly why he's here. This place doesn't have a lot of things going on. So, Midoriya opening his folder more and reading what it says. The man he's going after is an excommunicado, meaning that he used to be in Midoriya's line of work. Now, Midoriya understands that he's going to have to be a lot more careful, as he actually does pull out the desired weapon for this mission. The person is supposed to have a steel-based quirk, or some ability that will be very delicate. Actually, let's say they have a magnetic quirk. Now, Midoriya is actually very curious. His weapon technically is not made out of metal. However, it is still technically considered to be a firearm. His shot is only supposed to be durable enough for the gun is only supposed to be durable enough for one shot, and the bullet itself is a bit more tricky. They call it somewhat of a screwball shot. The head of it looks like the tip of a drill, and usually that would not be very damaging. However, it's once it gets momentum where the bullet truly shines. It is thought to be able to drill through steel if it was made of metal. However, Midoriya's is made of plastic, and the amount of damage it will do should be enough to kill. As Midoriya is actually looking around, and he actually has half his gun slipped into his waistband. Midoriya left his knives and other metal weapons within his car, and he's currently looking around, walking up to a man and asking him a few questions. The man saying that he wants to go talk to that guy over there. Midoriya then doing so, before talking to another person, and another, before he actually does look up to see somebody in the office with glasses on and a hard hat. And they actually do look up to see Midoriya, who does actually reach into his pocket and grab the picture, looking up at the man before beginning to make his way over. The man quickly understanding what's going on. He's prepared for this, however. This is exactly why he works at this location. And he actually does go to bring his hands up. Now, he tries to grab metal pieces off of Midoriya. However, he's not wearing anything made of metal. And he understands that the boy is prepared for this, as Midoriya continues to walk. The man running out of the office and grabbing the metal door handle, using his powers to rip it out and actually begin to throw it apart, as he does actually twist the metal and form it into sharp pieces, and inform Midoriya to not take another step closer, and that he's going to get out of here alive. Everyone around watching what's currently happening, as the man does continue talking, everyone else beginning to crowd around and try to understand what is going on. The guy explained that this kid is some sort of assassin, and that he needs to stay away from him. Everyone thinking that this is an obvious joke. However, Midoriya, he's not joking. He didn't say a word as the man tries to send metal flying towards him. Midoriya quickly taking 2 steps to the left, as the metal actually has hit a guy directly behind Midoriya. Midoriya actually adding that man's death to his own kill counts, since technically those were meant for him. Now, Midoriya does inform the man as he does bring his hands up, saying to calm down and to take it easy. He's not here to kill him, obviously lying. Explain that he wants to ask a few questions, and see what he knows. Now, the man just brings his hands up, and begins to mess with a lot of the metal equipment within this warehouse. Now, metal pieces are being ripped out of the walls and out of the machinery, causing massive malfunctions, along with actually messing up a whole lot of things. The guy basically triggers the security measures in the building, and everyone is forced to actually run out, along with actually a part of the building beginning to come down. And Midoriya tells the man that he just wants to answer one question. The man trying to send everything flying towards Midoriya, who this time actually does dodge to his right, jumping towards the ground. And looking on the ground, he grabs a shard of metal, turning around and throwing it with his left hand. Now, the very moment that he does throw it, the guy does bring his hands up to catch it. However, that was all Midoriya needed. With his right hand, he spins his body around and fires. The man brings his other hand up to try to stop the bullet. However, the moment that he doesn't feel it's being made out of metal, he quickly panics, before it goes right between his eyes, and his body does fall limp. Now, Midoriya actually has to do one thing, walking into the building and looking into a few things, typing some things in on the computer before actually pressing enter. And he does actually put things back in order, shutting everything down, as he does actually sneak out through the back. Now, whenever he does actually get back to his car, he takes off this strange mask from his face and reveals his true face. If the man knew who he was from the very start, he would have pissed himself. And that is not good. Midoriya then driving back to the facility. As he does actually arrive a few hours later, he does actually inform them of who he killed. A man going under a false identity, whose former name was, let's say, I can't think of one, but it's basically useless if I give him one. Now, he gives them a random name, and he actually does receive his payments, as he then actually does leave to his own room and go to sleep, waking up the next morning and going to an interrogation class. Now, with that, Midoriya is actually put into the interrogation scenario this time, as he is told that he is going to not only be the hostage once more, but Midoriya's settings are going to change. Now, the room that they are currently in, or that was designed for this scenario, does actually look to be a slaughterhouse. And Midoriya is currently dangling 10 feet up in the air, with his hands tied above his head. As the person on the ground, they're actually kind of scared of what's going to happen. They know that Midoriya can get free, and if he does actually get out, then they're going to have to fight. However, they do actually wonder if their quirk does give them the advantage here. They have a slightly faster than normal reflex, so their reflexes are better, and they're actually very well versed in combat. They have heard of how Midoriya can perform. However, their schedules are set up a lot differently, where they're usually on one side of the facility, Midoriya's on the other side of the facility, and they only have one class close to each other. Whenever Midoriya does actually go to his shooting range classes, or his linguistical classes, they are actually at least close by, in a different type of class. Let's say the boxing class, or most possibly the Tai Chi class. Now, with that being said, Midoriya is actually somewhat just standing there, or hanging there, let's say, as the person actually has to tell Midoriya that they want to know their information, and they want to know it now. As they actually do walk over and press a button on the wall, being to lower Midoriya. Now, they lower him just enough to where his feet cannot touch the ground. However, Midoriya does actually feel his big toes, or his longest toe, scraping against the ground. He does actually somewhat swing back and forth. The person asking Midoriya if he is ready to give up information. And we do actually have Midoriya, who, with his hand still above his head and tape on his mouth, is currently trying to think. If he can get out of this right now, it would be very easy. However, with all the pressure on his hands, removing a joint is not going to be an option. Him thinking that if he does actually pop out 3 fingers, he might be able to make it out. However, getting them back in time, before he does fall, could break them. Or most likely, break something. So, him then having the wind knocked out of him, as the person just begins to take shots at Midoriya's side, and punching him directly square in the chest. Now, the person does actually rip the tape off Midoriya's mouth, asking him if he is going to give up his contacts. Midoriya just saying no, and that if they are to leave him here like this, then he is going to make them a promise. Now, Midoriya says in a rather cold and harsh tone that if he does not get out of here within 5 minutes, then it's going to be him who's hanging from this chain, or from these ropes. Now, the person is somewhat intimidated by that, walking back over and beginning to raise the thing that Midoriya is currently on. Now, Midoriya, that he actually did want that, as he actually does bring his legs up and swing them up into the air, as he rocks his legs backwards, and just begins to swing. Now, we actually do have Miss Carter, who is actually watching what her son is doing, as so is the teacher, him somewhat confused. And Isla, she actually is going to predict what her son will be doing. Now, Midoriya, he just keeps swinging, and at this point, he's rocking backwards and going about 10 feet up in the air. And whenever he does rock forwards this time, he does actually get up a bit higher, going about 11 feet. Now, Midoriya just keeps going. And whenever he actually does feel his momentum swing back this time, he throws his legs backwards. And he keeps them that way, as he does actually swing forwards. The very moment that he feels it, he grabs onto the rope with his hands, and begins to pull. At that very moment, he just swings back forwards more, until he does actually finally grab onto the hook. And he just opens up the piece and slides the rope out, as he does actually still hold onto it. The very moment that he actually does get closer to the ground, or 10 feet from the ground, he does actually let go, and spin back around quickly. And he lands on his hands and knees. Midoriya actually feeling like he just hurt a joint, as the person quickly begins to try and rush Midoriya to fight him. Midoriya bring up his hands, and he does actually still have the rope in one of them, as he actually does block the first punch. And the person, they actually do go to throw themselves backwards for Midoriya's offensive attack. Now, Midoriya doesn't know their quirk, as he does actually rush forwards, and begin to throw his hands back and forth, him trying to throw a right hook and a left hook. However, with his hands so closely tied together, he's very slow, and somewhat looking groggy. Now, as that does actually happen, Midoriya actually is able to catch their offense attack. Midoriya actually noticing or catching on that was faster than a normal person, coming up with an idea in his head that this person's quirk might have something to do with combat, and noticing their style, similar to his, thinking that they might be a copycat if it were. Now, Midoriya, he then actually does go offensively, and this time he does actually fake a right. As soon as he actually does throw up a right, the person does go to react, bringing up their left arm and going to block. However, Midoriya throws out his left leg, and the person, they actually do catch Midoriya's left leg and begin to pick him up. Now, they're able to pick Midoriya up in the air, as they go to slam him back down. Now, the moment Midoriya actually did get airborne or somewhat above their head, he threw the rope down, and he did actually begin to wrap it around their neck. The person quickly realizing what Midoriya was doing, as they go to let him go. The very moment they do was their mistake, trying to throw themselves away. As Midoriya, he actually does currently pull, and the person, they actually do try to claw away at the rope on their neck. As Midoriya, he actually does grab them and pull them behind his back. And he holds on to them, being able to pull them onto his back and hold them into the air. As the person does actually try and jab Midori in his back, going for the part of his ribs that they already did bruise and actually hurt. Until the person who's just punching and punching with an elbow does eventually slowly begin to stop. And Midori himself does actually begin to cough up a little bit of blood, as he finally does at least let go, slowly letting the person back down to the ground as he does actually unwrap the rope and walk over, picking a scalpel up from the table and beginning to cut his hands free. Now, with that being said, the person who was watching this with Isla is actually somewhat surprised. Midoriya is a very tactical thinking mind, and he was able to actually surpass her candidates. The quirkless boy is truly dangerous. Her actually asking about Midoriya's current kill count. She can tell by the way he was acting that he was holding back. Her going on to state that the last time she talked to her son about it, he was at 422. Now, this does actually surprise her, asking if she's counting his latest job. Because from what she heard, something happened in LA, and a mysterious biker was actually present there. Her going on to state that she does not know. If she has to count everyone from LA, then she would say that he's around 632. Possibly even more. Or less. I'd have to ask. Now, after that does happen, Midoriya actually does walk away. Him going back to his room. As he actually does sit down on his couch. Now, he then actually does bring an ice pack up to his injury. And at least begin to sit back. As he actually does pick up his phone and look at his messages. Looking over at a few. He is needed for this job on the West Coast, this job on the East Coast, recommended for this one in Canada, Russia, Spain, and even one somewhere in Europe. Now, Midoriya actually does think about this all, as he actually is informed of each job in their pay grade. Midoriya thinking that if he takes the most dangerous one, he might get a bit of enjoyment out of it all. And he actually does look around a bit, wondering about Japan, and remembering things from his childhood. He remembers all that time he spent in that country. He's still there after all. And he is at least wondering about it all. It might be nice to go do some sightseeing. Him actually looking into his old hometown, and being surprised to find a contract there. Wondering about it, as he actually does look around more. There's a specialized contract here. However, it does not list the pay grade. That's curious. Oh well. I can at least stop by, check some things out. If I remember correctly, that one guy at the mall who beat the shit out of me. I wonder if his store is still there. I'm curious now. Midoriya deciding to sate his curiosity, and actually giving this contract a phone call back. Now, the contact does actually pick up their phone immediately, and ask exactly if this is the son of Baba Yaga. Yes. Now who is this? Oh my. It appears that I have my interest aligned. What are you talking about? Well, I heard that you're a very well, how should I put this? You get your job done. Is that correct? Hmm? As long as you're paying, I'm working. So, what do you need done? Hmm. Well, hmm. Let's see. This job is a bit more sensitive. Information we cannot talk about over the phone. So, I would like to meet you somewhere. Hmm. Okay. Midoriya stating that he would like to meet in this place, and going on to state that it is public, and that if anything does actually happen to him, then he should know that multiple people will not only find him, but also take him out. If this is a setup by the government, or possibly even by the police, then do be aware. Midoriya would kill himself before he is caught, and that there is no point in even trying to question him. Now, he then does go on stating that his organization is very secretive, and that even if he was caught, they won't let him live long enough to speak. Or, in the case of his mother Baba Yaga, no one would live long enough to hear the words come out of his mouth. Now, the person actually is very, very inquisitive, asking Midoriya to bring along Baba Yaga. As Midoriya does actually ask exactly what is the job, and he is told that in some time somebody will be somewhere, and they need that person taken out. Now, Midoriya is actually interested to hear about this, asking if the person who needs to be taken out is strong or weak. Well, they're very strong. I'd say pretty good. However, I believe that they'll be a threat to my plans one day. And if they are to help later down in the future, my enemies, they will be of very, very brash and somewhat fast death. Okay, so do you want him dead? Oh, no, no, you misunderstand my meaning. Dead isn't something I need. I need him captured and brought in alive, so I can perform my needed task on him. My boss was very, very secretive about this. In fact, I am not sure how he has heard about you. Your boss. Exactly who do you work for? Yakuza? You are in Japan. Oh no. My boss is someone stronger than the Yakuza. Really now? Now, Midoriya actually is very interested. And he does actually say that the meeting spot, he will be there next week. At high noon. If the man is actually late by 1 minute off, he's going to leave. And if he does actually spot feds, as he quotes, or any police officers nearby, then he's also going to be taking off. So, that is all he does need to know. Now, with that being said, Midoriya does hang up the phone and give a call to Baba Yaga, who we actually do currently have in the training room, going over with a class about this stuff, as she does actually face off against somebody with a strength enhancing quirk. As the person actually does go to rush forwards and go to throw a punch. They were told not to hold back against her, and they actually did throw their punch. Her being able to not only slide around it, but having the person's right arm drag at her shoulder, as she brings her hand up and actually just wrap herself around it, throwing her legs around the man's arm as she does actually not only twist and break his hand, but the way she moves her body and her hips, she breaks his elbow and his shoulder, before quickly just bringing him down and slamming his face down onto the mat. As she does actually then bring her legs up onto the back of the man's head, informing her class that that is how you perform her takedown, and that they also do need to be very careful. The final part of that, if you do actually want it to be lethal, can break somebody's neck and have a higher chance of killing them. And that if they do actually want to do it, they just have to simply put pressure here, here, and here. Basically saying that you need to hit a pressure point that will not only cut off circulation to the arm, but most likely actually lead it to be possibly even amputated, in very extreme cases. Now, after she does say all that, her phone does ring. And she does walk over and pick it up, hearing her son on the other end of the line. Midoriya asking if she's busy. Her looking over and saying no, as the man is brought to a doctor. And the doctor does use their quirk to help heal the man. Now, Midoriya does begin a short but brief conversation, stating that he does actually have a job that he needs to get done, and somebody does actually want to not only meet him, but her. Her asking Midoriya why he's not going to go alone, or if he does think it's possibly even a setup. Midoriya saying that his gut is telling him no. In fact, this might be a bit more fun. He doesn't know what he's being paid for the job yet, however. And he does actually want to discuss that before he continues anything further with the client. Her then actually asking Midoriya when do they need to leave. Midoriya telling her what time he said. 7 days and 12 o'clock at noon. Now, she does actually find that to be interesting. So, they are a 2 to 3 day drive away. If they actually do change off on driving, they should get there within a day and a half. Possibly even sooner if they don't follow the speed limits. So, they actually do begin to pack up their bags later on into the night. And Baba Yaga does tell the instructors about what's going on. She's going on a mission with her son, and not to wait up for her. Then basically telling her that as long as she does actually come back and teach some classes, that is all fine. Now, with that being said, Midoriya actually does pack his bags and put them in his car. And Baba Yaga does actually put a suitcase in the back seat, as they actually do go to leave. Midoriya putting his car in first gear, as Baba Yaga does actually get in and close the door, looking to her left and seeing this young man, as he actually does go to drive off, and the two do leave the facility, her still staring at him. And Midoriya actually has someone to look over. What is it, Mom? You're staring at me. What is it? Not much. However, I do remember whenever you were younger. Ah, the memories. Oh yeah. Good times. What was it? Not really a lot's changed though, right? Well, that's up for debate. You're... what? 14 now? Yeah, I am. And you're driving. Yeah, well, technically. I still don't have a license though. Fair enough. But either way, I'm starting to think that I might be getting a bit too old for this job. Mom, you still look like you're within your 20s. Oh, stop it, you kidder. Mom, I'm being serious. Besides, at least, thanks for coming along with this on me. Well, I was curious about it too. Plus, it's felt like forever since we've been on a mission. You got that right. What was it? Somewhere around a year ago, right? I think it was a little bit more over that. Fair point, fair point. But I did actually get busy with contracts. And I was kind of interested in traveling a bit more, and seeing the world, and killing people. Hmm. You say that like you enjoy it. Not really. I still do see it somewhat as, I guess you could call it therapeutic. I'm not really sure the best way to say it. Relieves the tension? Hmm. I guess that one could work? Though it's a weird way of saying it. Hmm. Well, I don't really know what I could tell you about it. It just helps to quell that anger, am I right? Kinda. But even then, about my last mission. Hmm? Oh, I was actually curious about that. The two continuing a dialogue, as they continue on their journey to Midoriya's former hometown. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing night. I will catch you guys in the next part.